This is another example, the same as it was a month ago, where it almost was a perfect mirror of the highest bidder got the best score and the lowest bidder got the worst score. And I understand the system. 30% is price, 20% is this and this and this. And I certainly understand it where the items are not fungible. But it seems to me that cleaning a bus stop is a pretty fungible thing. And so it at least provides the ability, although certainly it wasn't the case here, I'm sure, of someone to say, I'm going to highball this company I like, and I'm going to lowball this company I don't like. And if they do that on just one item that's 20% of the value, they've confused the whole system. And when I asked the question, so who's our third-party auditor, to find out, to have just somebody else say, here are all the bids we got, here's our scoring criteria, we're not going to tell you who won or lost, let us know what you came up with. The answer I got was, well, I'm happy to sit with individual council members and explain it. That is not we have a third-party auditor who audits 5% of all of our bid processes to see if they come up with basically what we came up with. I was very surprised with that answer, frankly. And I'd like to hear some, I'm sure there's a good reason. I just can't fathom what it would be.
That sounds like a procurement question that I will possibly need to defer if you don't mind.
No, you can defer here, 3 steps down. There's a guy in an orange shirt over there you can defer to if you want.
I apologize.
Oh, it's okay.
You'll have a better answer than
not a problem.
Good evening, council members. We do not have an independent audit company available to us to actually analyze our process. But we do have some built-in procedures inside to protect our firms through a protest process as well. So if firms are concerned about the way a process was handled as far as evaluation, then they can easily move forward and challenge that process. And in effect, that becomes a very formal audit of the process. And we have a 3-tier review system inside the city. So there's actually quite a bit of eyes that are directed to that procurement to verify if there were any concerns raised.
Okay.
Charlie?
Thank you.
I guess I'd like to follow up on Councilmember Granville's question. In this particular instance, can you give us some explanation as to how we ended up with the results that we did? And I'm not looking for disclosing confidential information about companies, but how do we end up with a scoring where a company with somewhat higher costs ends up with some fairly high scores when pricing is 35% of the contract or 35% of the evaluation criteria?
Well, I was just going to say, based on the evaluation process that we utilize, again, it's the content of the proposals that really drives the way we score these points. And the committee's challenge is to review those documents that are submitted and then go through an interview process to verify the criteria against what the company can actually perform against. And so that is one of the key challenges of the committee, is to make sure that we are looking at those qualitative issues, those performance issues, the infrastructure they bring to the contract, the record of success. And it is truly on a spectrum. When a committee looks at a proposal with this many firms, you do see a spectrum of qualifications and quality of those offers. And so it really is the committee's challenge to try to work through that, identify where the pros and cons are, and then assess points to arrive at a most advantageous recommendation.
Okay. Any other items? Councilman Granville.
Mr. Mayor, I would ask that for a future IRS item that we have a discussion regarding the potential of having a limited number of bids of this type audited by a third-party vendor. Not because I think we'll catch anything, but because we'll know we didn't catch anything.
Just to have the discussion.
Just to have the discussion. Just to have the discussion. Maybe we have the discussion and everyone says, Colby, you're a fool. That's fine. That's like Thanksgiving. But
once a year?
Don't I wish there were fewer holidays? Don't I wish? But I think that's at least a worthwhile discussion to have for 15 minutes at the table about if, a little bit of money to, keep us honest might be worth spending.